about spinal stenosis. And let's talk specifically about does walking worsen spinal stenosis, that is lumbar spinal canal stenosis. Now, this is an insight into this issue, and then we're going to discuss if walking makes it better or worse, because this is something that really confuses many people who suffer from stenosis of the spine. Now, we are specifically talking about lumbar canal stenosis here. So, as an executive mom, we tend to deal with back quite often, and in between a high stress job and family responsibilities and possibly this back pain, nerve pain, lumbar canal just can add another layer of difficulty in your daily routine, in your daily life. Now, lumbar canal stenosis refers to narrowing of there can be two areas. So either the centrally, that is in your spinal canal, it's known as a central stenosis, or in the foramen, it's okay. Let me just back up a little. So spinal stenosis can be of two types. One is a central stenosis, one is a foraminal stenosis. So in central stenosis, your spinal cord has a narrowing, and that is causing the symptoms. And in foraminal stenosis, there is a, where the nerves come out or exit your spinal cord, there is a narrowing in that area around the facet joints, and that causes a foraminal stenosis. So usually these terms of spinal stenosis are used interchangeably. So just letting you know, there are two types, and in case your doctor does refer to one or the other. All right. So in today's video, we're gonna discuss if walking makes your lumbar stenosis worse, or is it actually recommended? So before we get into the topic for today, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back, neck, and nerve pain, despite low energy levels and brain fog, that is low concentration or focus levels. And I do this by giving you simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have worked me in my own pain and adrenal fatigue journey. And adrenal fatigue, by that I mean the low energy levels and the lack of focus. All right, so we're bumps, we're busy people. Let me not take up more of your time. So let's get back into, does walking worsen your lumbar stenosis? Now, lumbar canal stenosis is a condition in which it often gets aggravated when you are bending backwards or when you are extending your spine. This could be walking, this could be standing, but hear me out on the walking. There's still like a little caveat there. So it can be either standing for long periods of time, walking, or any form of exercise where you are bending backwards can aggravate your stenosis, lumbar stenosis. However, when you are walking, so walking can be on even surfaces, downhill, uphill, anything, right? So let's talk about walking on flat surfaces. It can worsen your symptoms because when we are walking on flat surfaces, we tend to extend our spine in order to balance our body. Now, that increases the pressure on those compressed or irritated nerves, thereby increasing the symptoms of stenosis. Now, you may experience discomfort, numbness, tingling, or any other form of nerve pain in your legs as a result. And the most typical one is when you get cramps in your leg because of the stenosis. Now, obviously, there are many causes of stenosis. It could be a herniated disc, it could be the degenerative disc disease, or spinal fracture, tumors, facet joint issues, etc. But we're not going into the causes or the symptoms really, because if you want to learn more about that, you can have a look at my YouTube videos that I have done on spinal stenosis. And you can just go to YouTube, type my name, Swati Prakash, and then spinal stenosis. Those videos will come up for you and you can have a look there. But I'm just talking about them very briefly here just to save your time. Now, interestingly, when you are walking uphill, now what happens is when you're walking uphill, all of us, we tend to bend forward slightly. Now, with lumbar stenosis, when you are bending forwards, you actually reduce your symptoms because that is where your stenosis is actually, that area of stenosis is more relaxed. There's not so much physical stress on it, and bending forward actually feels better when you have lumbar stenosis. Now, in case you've had disc issues or have heard of disc issues, this is exactly opposite. Usually, with the disc issues, when you're bending forwards, you feel worse, and your symptoms are relieved when you're bending backwards. Anyway, that was just a little side I went on. So, coming back to spinal stenosis. So, when you are bending forwards, you feel better. So, when you're walking up an incline, you will not feel the symptoms of your stenosis, that cramping and pain in the leg, that nerve pain, burning, tingling, whatever your symptoms are. You will not feel it so much when you're walking uphill because we tend to bend forwards to balance our body. Now, the opposite of this is true when you're going downhill, walking downhill, or down the slope, because when you're going downhill, if you bend forwards, you're going to lose your balance. So you tend to bend backwards. So you go into a slight amount of extension in your spine, and that can again aggravate your stenosis, right? So this is basically the gist of why walking uphill can be better for you, but level walking or walking down a slope may not be the best for your stenosis. Of course, everybody is different. Your symptoms may be different from mine, even if we both suffer from stenosis. However, this is just the generalized idea behind walking and lumbar stenosis. Now, interestingly, there is a test that is done when people go to the doctor or their physical therapist for stenosis, which is known as it's called a two-stage treadmill test. So in that, you made to walk on an incline, and you see if your symptoms are reproduced, and you're made to walk on a flat surface, and then whether the symptoms come on. So if you have the typical lumbar stenosis, then on an incline walk you will have the symptoms, and when the treadmill is at on a flat surface, I'm sorry about that, on a flat surface without any incline, so zero incline, you will have symptoms, and on an inclined treadmill you will be symptom free or reduced symptoms will be present. All right, so and another thing you might have noticed, there are some people, I have seen a couple of older folks who tend to bend forwards over their walking trolleys when they are in the supermarket. So if you see somebody leaning over their trolley because of back pain, and they feel better when they do that, it's actually called a shopping cart test, and you can do this for yourself. So if you suffer from lumbar stenosis, try leaning forwards over the shopping cart the next time you go to the supermarket, or just leaning forwards at home. And if you feel better, that just shows that yes, you probably sit in with that theory of lumbar stenosis being better when you are bending forwards. Anyway, so if you are looking for more details on walking or lumbar stenosis, etc., you can have a look at the blog that I have written on this topic. That blog, I will leave a link in the description of this video. If you're watching me on Instagram, the link will be in my bio. In case you can't find it, just let me know and I'll send it across to you. That blog has some more information. It has a video on what does spinal canal stenosis feel like, so what are the symptoms, and sometimes when you have back pain and you have these symptoms, you're not sure where your back pain is coming from. So there is a free guide in there, which is what is the source of your back pain. So it's a very simplified version of, these are the symptoms you can possibly have when you have a disc issue. You can possibly have a stenosis if you have these problems, and so on. So it covers a few of the common conditions in your lumbar spine. So have a look at that. And yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions, any comments for me, do let me know, and I'll